Yeah, I still have my tree up. I don't know, can you see Muffin right there? She likes to eat tinsel and then puke over and over. Like she never gets the lesson. I don't get it. When I unpacked here in Santa Fe, I had given away my Christmas tree to a women's shelter, the last place I had temporarily unpacked. And so I didn't want to buy a tree at full pricing during the holidays. So when my girlfriend came at the end of December for New Year's, we went and got one 60% off, fully lit. Love it. So I think I might keep it up till like March. I don't know. I just love waking up early in the morning before the sun is up and it's still dark. And I turn the Christmas tree on. It just, I don't know what it is. It's just this magical feeling that I like to start my day with. It inspires me to be heart open, grounded and centered with my guests. And as we move into this next podcast with the incredible Ted Ryce, I'm so glad I do practices like this because I didn't know about his past, all of it. And we had connected on some other levels and decided that we'd both be on each other's podcasts. And I'm so grateful that I have cultivated the capacity and the practices to be present in the face of something unexpected. I can be heart open in the face of something tender. I can be honoring and not skip a beat because I can process in the real moment and be respectful, honoring, curious, and loving with people, certainly guests here on Intimate Conversations. So to listen to his story and see where life has taken him and that he and his business, it's like his dharma, it's his purpose, it's evolved as he has. It's just beautiful. This is a beautiful man doing great work on this planet. So enjoy this podcast with Ted Ryce. Beautiful sister, take a breath with me. Oh, when was the last time you felt really grounded in your body, still in your mind, truly in love with yourself? Not fixing yourself, not striving to be different, just loving your sweet self exactly as you are. I know you've probably been strong for everybody else, yet this is your moment now, an invitation to be there for you. To say yes to not just the bare minimum, but your real needs, to listen to the truth of your body, to slow down and hear the deepest truth of your heart, to face what you've been perhaps avoiding so that you can embody your authentic feminine power. And you don't have to do this alone. Like so many others before you, we can partner in divine sisterhood. The divine feminine way is to collaborate, to open our hearts together into the glorious, great unknown, the mystery. So I invite you to go to allanapratt.com/connect and book a call with me today. We will get through any shadow to the light of your fullest glory together. Promise. Welcome to Intimate Conversations, Season 14, Dark Night to Divine Light, because we both know intimacy is an inside job. Hello, my delicious people. Welcome to another episode of Intimate Conversations, Season 14, From Dark Night to Divine Light, with a gentleman who I've had the honor of being on his podcast, Legendary Life Podcast, the amazing Ted Ryce. So good to have you back, brother.
Thank you so much for having me on, Allana. Hope to, continue this conversation with my expertise and share it with your listeners.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Let me tell you, everyone, more about him before we get away to the races. He's a celebrity trainer and a creator of Metabolic Reset Sequence. This is a proven system that helps high-achieving men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s get fit in just 2 hours a week. And he's coached icons, get this, like Richard Branson, Robert Downey Jr., Ricky Martin, along with hundreds of top CEOs and entrepreneurs. And he hosts, as I said, the Legendary Life Podcast, ranked in the top 5% of health and fitness shows globally with over 12 million downloads. We know it's a good show, Ted, when Muffin comes to listen on my lap. So
There you go.
just getting her squared away and all settled. So
We have Muffin's approval. I like it.
Yes, she's 20. Her opinion matters. Yeah, so we have a little bit of a different background than our last time when I had the honor of being on yours. So tell people where you live, why you live there. You're an entrepreneur with a lifestyle that works for him and his clients.
Yeah. So in 2018, I decided, like, when you said, hey, I've trained all these celebrities and there's even more people who I've worked with.
Yeah.
I left it all behind because in Miami, I was playing a lot of games. I was playing the status game, driving around my brand new BMW and with my expensive watch and doing all these things. And I wasn't feeling fulfilled with what I was doing. And I knew the answer was to help people in a more broad sense, a more holistic way.
Yeah.
And so in 2018, I left it all behind, moved to Thailand, and lived in Southeast Asia for 2 years, studied meditation, Buddhism, tried so many different things.
Amazing.
Ended up drinking ayahuasca for the first time, not in Asia, flew back to Costa Rica, but I'm currently in Brazil right now. And after living in over 8 countries and visiting many, many more, I like it in Brazil. And one of the reasons I like it here, because I think this is important to our conversation, even when we get into health, nervous system activation, stress levels.
Yes.
Brazilians are super chill to be around. Right. Yeah. And so it's one of the, I can leave my apartment being in, let's say, a stress mood because of something going on at work.
Right.
I go to the coffee place. I'm like, bom dia, which is good morning in Brazilian Portuguese. And just like, I can have a interaction. It just brightens my day. It brightens the other person's day. And that's very much Brazilian culture for you versus I was recently in Austin, and there's always this, it's like this heavy vibe with, I know you're in Canada, if I remember correctly, right?
I'm from Canada, but I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Yeah. Good memory.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, I felt like in most places, there's a bit of a heaviness in the United States. Sometimes it's just a vibe, I feel. Not that there's anything wrong with that or if you're used to it, but after living in a lot of different places, this is where I've chose to be right now. But I love the States.
I love
make that clear.
Yeah. And I'm obviously here for a reason, the land of enchantment, Santa Fe.
I've never been. I want to go.
All right. Well, there's a guest suite right down on the hall. So you're more than welcome. The nervous system and where we go. Tell us about how you grew up. Because for me, as I shared on your podcast, I didn't know I was spinning in level 4 hypervigilance from all the trauma that was going on. I was a fish in water. This is how it is. So that level of spinning and nervous system, jacking it up was normal. And I literally would be attracted to New York City or, these places like this until, one divorce, second divorce, and then a custody battle, and then a criminal assault, boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, the only one in common is this one. Let's get a handle on this. And maybe the nervous system jacked up made me achieve a lot, but at the cost of my relationship well-being, my soul, my heart's well-being, my body's well-being. So tell us how because I betcha the reason why you went to Miami, that probably started way back when you were younger, this achiever in you, I'm imagining.
Yeah, I went to Miami because my parents decided to move there and had me there. Is why I ended up there.
Okay, well, there's that.
Born and raised. Okay, but you're right to question it because I don't speak Spanish. My Portuguese is pretty good. It's conversational, but my Spanish is not so great.
Okay.
That said, talking about the nervous system thing. So here's how I got into health and fitness.
Yeah.
As you gave that great intro, a lot of people know me from working with celebrities, from the podcast, from, social media, et cetera, all the podcasts that I've been interviewed on. But the way I got into health and fitness was through a family tragedy. My 9-year-old brother was kidnapped and murdered when I was 19 years old.
God, I'm sorry.
And yeah, I appreciate that, Allana. It's a heavy story, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I want people to understand, like, I've been through this process where it was a big deal. You can look it up, the story of Jim Rice, or the murder of Jimmy Rice. It's a well-known case, especially in Miami. And there's a lot of news about it because of my parents, what they did afterward. They got several laws passed. But bringing this story back to me and to the nervous system, I dropped out of school. I didn't understand what I was going through. I was like, okay, well, my brother's dead. That's horrible. I'm broken. But I have to go to school because I live in an apartment and I have to pay rent and I have to do all these things. And I couldn't focus and I didn't understand. And I ended up dropping out. I was studying neuroscience at the time, was going to go to medical school or do something different, but that all ended. A couple of years later, serendipitously, I found myself in health and fitness, and it changed everything for me. And how it changed is this: the narrative was, my life is over. Everything's going to be horrible. All my plans to get a degree and do all the things I was going to do after, that all ended. It came crumbling. The foundation of it came crumbling down after my brother's murder. And it was a court case, and I was, I was deposed and all this other stuff. It was just crazy. And he was later executed. Don't want to go into that either. Don't think it's too relevant, but just the details, I share those details to help you understand the magnitude of the stress involved. So not only was it this horrible thing, it was also high profile case. And I was stuck I was a kid, a teenage kid, 19 years old. But as I said, I found my way into health and fitness. And the reason was that narrative I spoke about just a minute ago. I felt that was the reason why my life was over, why I felt bad inside. Because this external reason. And then I started exercising, which I had done in the past. I wasn't Mr. Healthy. I was more of a head banging, marijuana smoking, party hippie headbanger type, right? Skateboarded, but I had always exercised too. I was kind of a weird guy, in that way. Played Dungeons and Dragons. Now that's cool to say because of Stranger Things, right? But but it wasn't so cool when I was doing it. Anyway, I came back to exercise. Don't know why, I didn't know what to do. Found myself started training again. I was like, I feel better. And of course, this is going to seem so obvious in 2026. It's like, yeah, no shit. It makes you feel better when you exercise. But back in 1998, nobody was talking about this stuff. Right. It's almost over 27 years ago. I've been in health and fitness 27 years. And so I started realizing, you know what? As I'm building my body back, I'm feeling better emotionally. I'm feeling more regulated. I'm feeling like, my stress levels are lower. My sleep is improved. My outlook is better on my life. And it changed everything. I wanted to help everyone, because even if you haven't been through a traumatic experience to that level, guess what? You're best case scenario in your life, let's say you had the perfect childhood, which many people didn't. I did not. But you will, even if you had the perfect childhood, even if your parents, you're so close to them, you will live to see them die. How are you going to handle that? Right. I know I met someone recently. They were saying, oh, I loved my dad so much, but he got sick. He had an infection, died within a week, of getting this infection. And it's like, I loved him so much, but I wasn't prepared for him to pass. And so this is how I kind of look at health and fitness. Sure, it makes you look good. naked, important, or in your bikini or in your board shorts.
Yeah.
And it's important for longevity, but it's also what gives us, what can at least be the foundation, because I'm a huge fan of what you do, Allana, but it can be the foundation, and really arguably should be the foundation of everything else. Because even if you go through therapy and do psychedelics and do all these other things, and we can talk about this, your physiology, if it's not being challenged in a certain way, if it's not being stimulated in a certain way. For example, I often say, like, you know, healing from trauma, you can't be a person who sleeps 3 hours a night, drinks, gets drunk every night and does cocaine, but you're healed from trauma. That's not, that doesn't happen. Right? Your behaviors will change to be more health promoting. Nobody's perfect, and that's okay. And, you know, but there's no like, hey, I'm healed, but I'm, you know, I still, you know, destroy my body or whatever it is. It's like, that's not, then you're not really, I would argue, there. And so that's kind of how I view the nervous system, health and fitness. And we can talk about that, especially with regards to getting older. There's some very specific things that happen with your nervous system that I think nobody talks about and people need to know, but that's how I got started.
I freaking love this. Every time we talk, I'm just like so in awe, and I respect you more, and we have more in alignment. And I'm like, I just want to jump through right now the Zoom screen and give you a big fucking hug.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So again, I'm sorry. And yet I don't pity you, because you have leaned in and asked questions and followed your intuition and followed spirit to what you're here to do with your dharma and your gift to the planet. So thank you for being brave, present, and continuing to put one foot in front of the other all the way down to the beautiful south of Brazil and onto this podcast. Yeah. Ted, I was at a dinner party a couple nights ago, and there was a chiropractor, a colonics person, and me, and it was at this house, and she's in her mid 60s, and we were talking about health and well-being. And everybody had it was almost like a diamond, Ted. And we all had our point of view that was all accurate, but it was all making this physical vessel, in my opinion, the greatest receiver of divine soul light into the present moment, so we can be our best self, keep our hearts open, give love, receive love, all the things. And they all had their support to make this vessel divine, to treat it like a divine vessel. So continue on, because if we don't, as you said, you can do all the therapy in the world or psychedelics or whatever, but if you're not taking care of this vessel, the light can't get in, and you can't be that for all, and humanity doesn't evolve. So tell us more about as we age, because I turned 56 last week, and I am getting up there too. And then weave it into what you do for people. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, you look amazing for any age, but 56. Yeah. You're a perfect example of someone who's really, you know, living all the different sides of what it means to be, you know, healthy, right? Mm-hmm. None of us are perfect, but we're all, you know, I think you're a great example. And so let's talk about this, because one of the issues that we deal with is we can do a bunch of stuff in our 20s. For example, I was training clients in Miami Beach. Like I told you, I wasn't like the jock who played football and, you know, did all the things. I was kind of a party guy. And so I started partying a little bit in Miami Beach. I would go out, I would train clients during the day, go out at night, stay up all night, because I would train a bunch of celebrities and club owners, and I would get in, go to the VIP. I wouldn't have to pay anything. I was just starting, so I didn't have that much money. So, but I was having this VIP lifestyle, and then I would go train, wake up after a couple hours and go train clients again, you know, still hungover and feeling off, but I could do it.
Yeah. I mean, 20s, you can do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So what is it now? You know, I'm 48, I'm actually going to be 49 in 2 weeks. So what changes? Yeah. What changes about our recovery? Well, I think two things are really important. One is age is not just a number. it's a great motto. And you like that motto, you want to run with it, you want to say age is just a number. I love it. And let's be honest with ourselves. It ain't just a number. For example, you can do anything in your 20s. Why can't you do the same thing, at 48 in my case?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that happens is we have our autonomic nervous system, which you and I talked about on my show.
Yep.
We have different parts of our nervous system, but our autonomic nervous system is the part where half of it is fight or flight. We all know what that is. You're driving along and then a cop puts on his lights behind you. You're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then they drive right past you. But for that few seconds, your heart rate spikes, your mind starts going like, oh, am I driving? Like, am I speeding here? Am I doing everything right? So, or other situations, if you feel unsafe walking somewhere, you're very vigilant. And it's there to protect us. It's not a bad thing. It's there to protect us.
Yeah.
Then we have our rest and digest. That's our parasympathetic side of our autonomic nervous system. And it's really important. They're not opposites that work against each other. They're two separate sides that have, we could say, the volume turned up or turned down.
Okay.
Right. And so what happens as we get older is that our sympathetic side, the fight or flight, starts becoming more dominant, starts becoming more active. There's a lot of reasons why that happens. And I don't think it's necessary to talk about it, but just understand that is what happens as we get older as a trend. If we don't do one very important thing, which is you've got to exercise.
Right.
You've got to exercise. And more specifically, even though I'm a huge fan of weight training and lifting weights, and I believe lifting weights is the foundation. If you only got 30 minutes twice a week, you better be lifting weights if that's all the time you have to train.
Okay.
But the thing that's going to make the biggest difference is doing aerobic exercise. Aerobic exercise, and not just doing it, but doing it in a way, just like if you're in the gym and you're using the let's say 5-pound weights, you got to get to the 10s and to the 15s, and you got to keep challenging yourself. And you need to do the same thing with aerobic exercise as well. You need to do it in a way that delivers results. And the way that it's working, there's a few different ways. You can do a test like the Cooper test is a 12-mile run. I'm sorry, a 12-minute run.
I was going to be 12 miles. Do I really have
12
to?
12 miles. It's long. I'm not a runner either, so I feel you on that.
I could dance for 12 hours.
Long.
But
well, that's another good one too. That's a great form of aerobic exercise, by the way, where it doesn't feel like exercising.
Yeah, it's just joyful.
That's right. But if you do, and you know what? I want to also say this. I like to measure things.
Yes.
For me, it helps.
Yes.
You don't have to do this, but if you are like me, or if you work with me, I do test my clients to make sure that what we're doing is delivering results. So you can do some type of test.
The journey. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can see by doing a 12-minute run, you can see by doing a 1-mile run. You can also see by just measuring your resting heart rate is a good one as well. I'm wearing an Oura ring right now, my index finger.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, originally was a sleep tracker, and now that's their bread and butter, but it measures things like resting heart rate, measures things like your respiratory rate, your temperature, and other things. But why I said resting heart rate is if a good goal is to have a resting heart rate that is under 60.
Yeah.
That's what I believe you should have.
Okay.
If you want to be like an ace, like a star student, if you're that type of person, under 50. Okay.
Amazing. Okay.
And that's how you want to keep energy as you get older.
Yep.
Some people, whatever they're doing is working for them. But if you feel like, you know what, I don't feel quite as energetic as I used to, this is a great place because there's other changes that happen as well. Mitochondria, which are, you know, the powerhouses of our cells, they start becoming dysfunctional as we get older too. And how do you get them more functional? How do you create more of them? Aerobic exercise as well. So I'll stop there. I can keep going with this stuff, but
I'm sure you could. This is good to know. So I started flamenco last summer in Seville. I took the month off. I went to Spain.
beautiful.
I said, okay, let's just give this a go, see if I like it. I don't speak Spanish, so it didn't go so well that way, but there was lots of other girls who were translating for me. I could always hear, no, Allana, no. That part I understood. But it's really good. I'm finding the stamping, you know, for my bones. And then
Absolutely.
it's a 2-hour class 3 times a week. And then the attitude and the posture. And that's another thing I noticed. I'm at my computer a lot. And so just being invited to just have extraordinary posture with some attitude has been great. And I do notice though, my body over time, my muscle tone has decreased. And I got one of those handy dandy scales where it tells you all the things. Apparently I'm 26. My body age is 26. I don't know how I figured that out, but I don't care because that sounded good. But I did notice the body, like the muscle to the whatever ratio.
Right.
I did it on someone else's scale before and it went down. So do we need to lift more weights as we get older? You were saying like you have to increase the cardio, like increase the weights. Do we actually need to do more as we get older? Or is there sort of like how's that work?
Yeah, great question. So a few things. Number one, the best way to test your bone mass, your bone mineral density, and also your body composition is with a DEXA scan. Because if you get on someone's scale and then try another scale, they're not standardized and they're not that great. Maybe in the future, because what you used, I'm 99% sure is called bioelectrical impedance.
Got this thing you hold.
Exactly. Yeah. That's bioelectrical impedance. That's like an in-body scan and they sell home versions of it.
That's what I have.
Yeah, you can use it as a trend, but not, hopefully it's precise in the sense that it makes measurements in the same way all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not accurate. Right? Even with the DEXA scan, there's going to be a margin of error because with all, with all measurements, there's error.
So maybe I'm not body age 26 after all.
Well, actually, the reason I said that, Allana, was because you're saying that you lost something, but that might not be true. That might not be true.
Got it.
So if you're going to measure something, measure yourself. Ideally in a DEXA scan or only on your machine. Don't compare machine to machine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just got
point.
it for my birthday, so I'll just stick to my own machine.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to weigh yourself, I wouldn't even weigh yourself on a different scale. I don't care so much
about that. I just want to be fit and healthy and strong.
Totally understand. I'm just saying that for all the people listening, be consistent with your measurements.
Yes.
Don't be like one of my clients who weighed themselves in the morning usually, but then forgot and then measured themselves after lunch and up 5 pounds. It's like, of course you got 5 pounds of liquid and food in your stomach.
Correct.
We're talking about physics, the pull of gravity on your body and everything inside your body, including the food that you had for breakfast and lunch, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be consistent. Otherwise you can get some noise, right? Like what you probably have. I would be very curious to see if that was true or not. So it's important so you don't get into, so that's the first thing I wanted to say for everyone listening. Make sure you're consistent with the machine, with the way you measure yourself, because with bioelectrical impedance, when is also important because your hydration status will affect the measurement as well. So if you do it later on, checking your body percentage, it may be different. Okay. So then to answer your question about lifting weights, 100%, there's something called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is called the age-related loss of muscle, and we lose about 3 to 8% every decade of our muscle mass if we don't lift weights.
Right.
And why I say lifting weights, you can be doing calisthenics, you can be doing kettlebells, you can be doing dumbbells, but whatever you're doing, it needs to be done in a progressive way, or you won't get the necessary stimulation for your muscles, but also bones. I love Pilates, but it's not the same, right? If you love your Pilates class or your yoga class, all those things are great, but nothing's going to recreate. Again, it's up to you, but nothing's going to recreate a progressive resistance training program.
Amazing.
And to your point, it gets more important as we get older. And so funny, man, people don't say it as much these days, but maybe 15 years ago, it's like, oh, I'm too old to get in shape. And now it's like, no, I'm too old not to train, right?
Yeah, right.
Too old not to take care of it. How in your 20s, you actually need less. As you get older, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it becomes more important. It's going to be the thing that will determine, like we're in the longevity boom right now, but you can take all the peptides, you can get your, all whatever you want to do. But if you're not lifting weights in a way that maintains your muscle, because your muscle will maintain your strength, you're going to be having a hard time. I'm laughing right now because I just put up a tweet today. It went viral, mini viral, if you will, on X. And it was like the retirement plan no one talks about, muscle, because money won't get your ass off the toilet when you're 70, right? Something, I don't even remember exactly what I wrote, but it was something like that. And it just popped off. And it popped off because it's true, right? You need to remember that you need to think about, what is the life that I want to live? And so many of us, we view, financially, I want to be secure. 100%.
Yeah.
But you also want to be secure in your ability to play with your grandchildren or get off the couch without needing help and not needing a walker or a cane. And I'm just one more thing, and then I'll turn it over to you here, is I'm not talking about if you've had a bad accident or if you had a medical condition. Okay. Those are separate conditions, separate situations. And I'm not talking to those people. That, again, that's a more complicated situation, but I'm talking about the neglect, the change in our body that happens due to either neglect or abuse of our body.
Thank you. Yeah. And so two things. One, I want to know, so these top CEOs and entrepreneurs that you're working with now, I'm assuming it's online because you live in Brazil. And is that how that all works? And these are busy people that don't have a lot of time. So in just 2 hours a week. So I want to ask, like, what's realistic, so people can be like, oh no, I can actually find 2 hours a week. I can do this. So I want to talk about that. But first, I just want to say, last week, my dad, who I'm not terribly close with, and my sister, who I'm not terribly close with, but anyways, I found out my dad was in the hospital with pneumonia. He's 86. My sister's a doctor. She went, and in Canada, unfortunately, there were no rooms at the inn. So he was in a hospital bed in the hallway for 4 days, not moving. And my sister got there and said, okay, Dad, so this is it. You're going to die, or you're going to get your ass out of this bed. We're going to walk until we get you out of here, and we're going to get you home. What do you want to do? So I'm so glad she was lovingly forceful and she got him moving. But then then they Zoomed me from home. I had not seen my dad's face, Ted, in 15 years. I talked to him like a couple times, like a handful of times on the phone, but it was wild to see how frail. He's 6'4". When I grew up, he's 5'9". And my sister went to a separate room and said, he doesn't have great circulation. They sit on the couch a lot. I can't change that. He got out of the hospital this time, but I just want you to know, like, I'm really proud of me and her. Like, I was a professional dancer. She skis all the time. Like, we're active people who are aware of this. And that's not how we were raised. Well, I guess we were taking a dance class and piano class and that kind of stuff. But seeing him, like, she turned the camera to show me him walking to the bathroom. He can walk, but he's so hunched over and so frail. it was like a wake up call. It hurt my heart. It was intense. It was intense. And 86 is not that far away. I want to be like really healthy at 86. I'm not going, I want triple digits. I'm with a clear
like
mind,
it.
having great sex. That's what I want. So, so anyways, yeah, what do so you generally work with men?
I work with, let's say I market to men.
Yep.
I'm better with men, but I have women clients who are like, hey, I want to work with you. I've seen the results, so and so God, and do you work with women? It's like, yeah, most of my career I've worked with 50.
Right.
But these days I'm more focused selfishly, I'll admit, Allana, because the female hormonal system, I mean, it's fascinating and complicated, but it also takes me away from like being an expert with men. But yes, I work with women too. Just the more complex hormonal stuff, especially post menopause, I wouldn't be the one to comment on specifics regarding that, but I can certainly talk about the things I do with my client. I've got a 58-year-old client right now. She's in amazing shape, and we're getting her in even better shape because she's never really had to work on her health and fitness before, but she's super successful along with her husband, and they're traveling to St. Lucia and all the spots. And so yes, I do work with women too.
Got it. So what does it look like for your men or female clients? What does it look like? Seriously, just 2 hours a week? And is it broken up, or do you just touch base with them a couple times in the week, or what does the program really look like?
Yeah, I mean, the program's split up into phases, and we apply it. Everything is done custom because that's how it needs to be done. That's the only thing that works. So no two clients have the same workout, the same nutrition plan, the same supplementation plan. We base everything on, we run blood work and do other types of assessments. We figure out, I spoke about resting heart rate. We figure out, does this person need to focus more on strength, more on aerobic exercise? So I'll answer your question more directly in a second, but I want people to understand, like, the best thing to do is to do some type of assessment. And based on that, then you figure out what the workout should look like.
Right.
And there's no way I'm going to be, let's say someone's in poor aerobic shape. I'll say this for your listeners. Have you either done this or know somebody who's done this, and they're like, oh, I worked out so hard, I was sweating and out of breath. It's like, but you look at them, you're like, I get that you're pushing yourself, but I don't see I don't see the results of that. And what ends up happening, as we talked about before, how if we age and we don't focus on cardiovascular fitness, our sympathetic side of our autonomic nervous system gets overly active. If we have too much body fat, especially with men, with women, it's a little bit different. Women do better with body fat, especially for the women who store body fat around their hips and butt. I know some women at least have told me, like, oh, I hate this, this part right here on my hips or my butt or whatever. But guess what? You're healthier than the woman who's storing that fat around the midsection. So fat around the midsection is indicative of visceral fat. So not only do you have the subcutaneous stuff, which is underneath the skin, but around and inside the organs, which secretes inflammatory chemicals, makes you more insulin resistant. It's why diabetes, or what causes ultimately diabetes, is fat inside your liver and your pancreas. It messes up. Don't want to go off on a tangent, but just understand, if you have excess fat around your waist, it is also causing your sympathetic side of your nervous system to increase in activity.
Makes
sleep
sense.
will do that. Too much chronic stress will do that. In talking about what you deal with, unresolved trauma where you're hypervigilant and no reason why anymore, but it just hasn't been resolved. that can do that as well. I mean, that's
Wow.
what's happening, right?
Got it.
Is the side is overactive. So you may need to do deeper work, but certainly addressing the physiological causes of that increase in sympathetic drive is important. And I bring that up because you don't want to crush yourself with exercise, because what's happening, number one, you're not in shape enough. You're already under stressed before you step into the gym if you have all that going on. So we like to start with aerobic exercise for our clients to really decondition and keep the weight training very low volume. So 1 set, even 2 sets, and keep it low volume and get them walking. So I'm just giving that as an example to just create some nuance. But to answer your question more specifically, right?
Yeah.
How much time do we need? Now, if you want to be elite, you ain't going to do it in 2 hours per week.
Yeah.
But if you're in a place where you've maybe never really exercised in a structured way, or you're a few years behind, few months, or maybe in a few years behind, you don't need that much.
Right.
First thing to do is I would look at your steps. I would start bumping that up. So if you have some type of wearable, Apple Watch, Fitbit, Whoop, Aura, whatever, look at your steps and just bump up the steps by 1,000 or 2, and try doing that till you get to at least 7,000. Why? 5 or less is sedentary life. It's like people who are smoking. Like, you're okay right now, but you're gonna have a problem, whether that's gonna be pneumonia or what is it called, emphysema or lung cancer. You're asking for a problem, and that's what 5,000 steps are under. A lot of people, I don't know if this is directly but a lot of people have said sitting is the new smoking. Is it that direct of a relationship where it's like, it's so bad it's like smoking? I don't know if we can answer that question exactly yet, but it's good to think about, like, hey, this is a problem if I'm getting 5,000 steps or less. Now, when it comes to the gym, you need much less than you think. What I tell my clients is the difference between building or maintaining muscle is just 1 set. Just 1 set. So if you do, you can even start today, if you're listening to this, 1 set body weight squats. 1 set, if push-ups, do 1 set of push-ups if you can do push-ups. If you can't, try a plank hold for as long as you can hold it. 1 set.
I love
and
this.
You can just start easy like that. If you've got more equipment, then what I'd like to do is I'd like to do 1 leg exercise, 1 pushing exercise, 1 pulling exercise. Balloons going off in the background. And if you really need to do abs, even though we can talk about like why you shouldn't focus too much on abdominal exercise, because it's not a lot of ROI, even though a lot of people feel like, hey, I want this to go away on this part of my body, this belly fat, I want to get rid of it. You're going to be better off working your legs than doing abs. But if you want to throw in an ab exercise, you can do it as your 4th. And you do that 2 times a week, 1 set, 3 exercises, take you less than 15 minutes. Oh no, but Ted, that's nothing. If you're out of shape, that's what you should start with. And more specifically, I've been doing this for 27 years now, almost 27 years. That's how I start some clients who are really deconditioned. And here's the secret. If you start out and push yourself too much, you get sore for 5 days. You feel great for the first week because you're stimulating yourself and your body's like, hey, thank you, I've needed this so much. And then, like you said, you're burnt out. Start slow. And you want to be like, I can do more than this. My clients, when I start them out, they're almost annoyed when I talk to them in the 2nd week that we start. They're like, I can do much more. I'm like, good. I've been waiting for you to ask me that. Now let's do more. Now, and guess what? Next week, we're going to do even more. And the week after that, and we'll keep going until we maximize whatever available time that you have to exercise.
Yeah. This is so exciting to me. Okay, first I worked out right before our workout because you inspired me because I knew I was talking
Love
to
it.
Ted. And I have my little 20-minute routine and I do all my different exercises and then I do legs, then I do arms, then I do jumping jacks, then I do squats, then I do sort of like cardio weight for 20 minutes and I just feel great. And I win. So if I set myself up for 60 minutes and then I only did it once or twice a week, then I'd have the experience of failing. So all the way back to when your brother passed away and you started to feel better, there's something about doing doable chunks consistently that make you believe in yourself. You keep your word. You have a greater self-esteem. You can rely on yourself. You can trust yourself. Like, and all of that literally changes your posture when you walk in the room. Like with some of my clients that I haven't had sex in forever, with their partner, I don't go, great, 3-hour sex. Like, no, I go, just, today, all you're doing is holding hands. Go for a walk. Next, you're just going to kiss each other. That's it. No other body parts, just kiss and be present. And then, maybe just pleasure for her. And then the next day, maybe just pleasure for him, like small containers of winning where you build up that trust again and that ability to speak up and ask for what you want and let go of the past and stay present. Like these little wins, it sounds like physically or emotionally or sexually. It's like, it's all the same thing. I love this. And then when you're aching for more, because you've built the capacity for more, the courage and the physical capacity or emotional capacity, then you ask your trainer, Ted or Allana, okay, we're ready for what's next with vulnerability or what have you. I love this. I love this. You are awake. You are emotionally intelligent. You do the work. You've done psychedelics like me. You've created a life where you love where you live, that honors your life, your lifestyle, your nervous system. What do you do when a client bumps up against, I hate my ass, or they bump up? Like sometimes when I was getting through my psychedelic somatic integration work, when I first started, I'd start doing squats and my glutes and my labia, all of that were numb from all of the abuse. And they started to come back online again. I could feel from my heel all the way to my glute for the first time in my whole life. Didn't need my lower back to grasp anymore. And this flood of emotions came through. I'm here. Holy crap. It was really intense. And I'm glad I had a trainer and I explained to her what I was doing. And she was right there with me and didn't make me wrong and didn't bypass it. I imagine you're a wonderful trainer, even though it might be online, to be with emotions when they come up. It can't just be only physical.
Yeah, it is mostly a psychological journey for the majority of people.
Right?
People have beliefs about what's possible for them. For example, and this is both men and women I'm talking about here. I've had one of my clients say, I believe that guys like you, Ted, who stayed in shape all the time, you never eat anything wrong. Or you never fall off track, or it's like, I'm constantly screwing up. And then here's the thing. I love this analogy because in a former life, I played bass in bands, and also I played the upright bass. I don't play anymore. I'm probably I probably couldn't even hold the rhythm, but I was quite good at the time. Right.
Yep.
And so, who's your favorite band, Allana?
Oh, I don't know. I love all sorts of music. I just started listening to Sarah McLachlan's latest album. She's Canadian like me. So anyways, I love Sarah.
Let's go with Sarah.
Okay.
If you go see her live, I guarantee you there's going to be a time when someone in that band messes up.
For sure.
But they're professionals.
Yes.
They don't say, whoa, let's stop.
Let's start over.
Concert. Let's start over. Let's start sorry, I missed a beat there. Let's start all over. They don't do that. In fact, they just keep going and you never even notice.
Yeah.
That is the difference between a pro and an amateur. Amateurs stop and they make a big fuss and the drama and the stories. And it's just like, of course you're going to screw up. I gained like 10 pounds in over Christmas in 2 weeks, being in Texas with my family, eating because they put bacon in everything. And guess what? I planned for it. I got into good shape before I was there. So part of it wasn't
Yeah.
even fat. It was also I trained pretty hard, but I still use that as an example where I'm in even better shape now, because even though some people might have said, "Oh, that's a screw up," it's like, well, I built some muscle. I was training hard during that time because my family has a great gym in the garage, excellent gym. And I already had my plan for when I go there, just like my clients who travel in different places, they all have workouts for their different houses and different locations they find themselves in. So I had a plan, I enacted it, and I put on a little bit more body fat, but I also put on more strength, and I came back and, now I'm cutting it off. And so pros, they screw up. You don't see it. Just like how Sarah McLachlan's band, when the drummer, hits the hi-hat at the wrong time or whatever, it's like they just keep going and you don't even notice. And so, to answer your question, a lot of people, they have stories like that one client. I'm perfect. And since Ted is perfect and I am not perfect and I can't be perfect, I can't do this.
Right.
Another one is, this is my 58-year-old client, the female client that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
She had an issue where she started lifting weights. She wasn't lifting. She's in good aerobic shape, playing tennis and getting a ton of steps every day.
Nice.
But we had her starting to lift weights. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm gaining weight and my hunger's out of control." I'm like, and she had a story about how she was just like getting depressed because of it. And she was failing because of it. I'm like, "Oh, that's normal."
Yeah. Yeah.
That isn't moral. I feel like, Allana, this is a mistake I see a lot. People interpret natural physiological phenomenon as a moral failing. Like, "Oh, I started lifting weights and I'm hungry and I'm such a loser because I ate because I was hungry." It's like, no, that's normal. We just need to change some things.
Yeah.
Right?
You honored your bodies. You listened and honored your body. You were hungry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's certain times where you shouldn't honor, if your body is like, "Hey, have another glass of wine." You've
at
only
11
had
p.m. that bag of
8.
tortilla chips. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
But that's not honoring
my body. It's not what we're talking about. But I feel like, I think meditation is great for this. I'm sure, we both had breakthrough moments with psychedelics. I feel like people don't trust themselves. And a big part of that is helping to educate my clients on the physiology. Because I just showed her like, "Hey, this is what's going on physiologically. We just need to change a few things. And, we need to increase the amount of food you're eating, and, but to the right point, and make sure it's from the right foods and the right amount of calories." I don't do strict diets. I have some strict approaches, but I feel like, because I do this, I don't restrict any food, because I feel like that might work for 1, 2, 5 years, maybe even 10 years, but eventually you're going to run into a situation where you're going to be in Positano. They're going to ask you if you want the big lemon filled with lemon sorbet, and you should go for it.
You're going to say, "I'll have 2.
Could be. Could be. But the thing is, I teach my clients how to eat in a way where there are no foods that are completely cut out. But of course, it's like a budget. You need to learn how to budget things.
Yeah.
And of course, it depends on what level of leanness you want, what level of fitness. But I'm not here to dictate what my clients should want. I mean, I'll have my opinion and I'll try to push them to get to the best shape they can, but ultimately they're going to be the ones to live their life. So not me. So I help them do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about being in shape in partnership when your partner isn't. When you were talking about your client who was, working out, then she was needing to eat more. When I first met my first husband, I was a dancer in Japan. I was thin as a rail, had the little tight jeans. And then we get back to the States and he's like, I want to get you a gym membership. I want you to get strong, not just thin. And I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden I couldn't fit in my jeans because my legs started getting muscles on them. And I wanted to stop. And he's like, I'll take you shopping. We will buy you new jeans. But I felt, which is totally crazy, but when you've been raised as a dancer compared to other girls and they're bulimic over here, and you're literally weighed in at the modeling agency, like you're gaining weight, like this was my life. So I was shaming myself, and I considered, well, I'm just going to throw all this up. Like I had these crazy like bulimic thoughts, and I really had compassion for people that deal with eating disorders, because I was really borderline. And even though we ended up getting a divorce, our long-term goals weren't the same. He was very loving, kind, and positive as a partner. What do you do when your partner isn't in alignment with your clients? They aren't in alignment with their physical health, and you can't have those shared values and shared time together. What do you tell your clients? How do you help them?
Yeah, it's such a great question, and it's something that isn't talked about enough. The answer is to get into a time machine, go back and choose your partner differently. Only half joking, but let's say
we have to see the gift in the divorces.
Right, exactly. Look, I say that jokingly. I would never, for me, my standard, I would never be with someone who doesn't have that shared. It's just like,
too fundamental.
I actually did that in my relation, my what do you call it? Marriage. My first wife. She was pretty thin, but she wasn't fit. And she could eat, so she liked eating high calorie junky food, but she could control how much she ate of it.
Right.
And she didn't like to exercise, but she still had a nice body. For me, what ended up happening is I went to the gym less.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do things together. She wasn't a partner in that way. And I'm not, at the time I did blame her, but now I don't. I realized it was my choice and my lack of awareness of what I needed in a partner. But what ended up happening to me, I did less exercise. I worked out a lot at home, but I would eat a lot more because she wouldn't finish her food. I would eat her food, and and I was resentful. And so if you're in that situation, of course, if you're in a place where you're very fit and you're single, do not accept anything else in a partner, because you will not pull them up. They will drag you down.
Thank you. Yeah.
And, but what if you both were out of shape and then you got the bug to get into shape? That happens a lot too.
Right.
I actually, just before I answer that question, I actually have a lot of guys where their wives are in great shape and they're not. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, you got to get it together. Your wife's all super fit. Like, you need to get it together. Wow. So, but when it comes to a situation where you want to change, it's really important to have a conversation and to say, hey, listen, I'm feeling this type of way about my current level of fitness. And I'm, share honestly your concerns. And very important, you ask for help.
Yeah.
You do not say, don't eat that poison. You're feeding me poison. You cannot. If you do that, well, you better have a good divorce attorney. That's not going to last very long. You have to be mindful of the type of communication style that you have. Like it's very, for some reason, nutrition in particular creates a lot of emotion in people. That's why people don't argue over exercise, but over diets, I don't, just check out whenever I talk about carnivore diet or keto diet, like it's a religion for some people. And so you have to resist getting very emotionally built up about it. You have to say, hey, listen, this is what I'm trying to do, and try to get your partner to buy in, right? Try to say, hey, and I'd really appreciate to do this together. But here's the thing. It's not your job to control them right? It's your job to do you, to make the decision, to communicate in a mature adult way what you need, and I've never seen it lead to a divorce or breakup in my situation, in my coaching experience, in my years of coaching experience, not while I was coaching the clients,
Yeah.
but there were some hard conversations. In one case, I remember the guy was married to a woman who was obese, and or she had gotten obese because she hurt her knee and she wasn't interested in doing anything about it. And this was a successful guy, and her son was like having problems with the law, and it was just a big mess. And you know, um, I would just say, when you marry someone, you're not just marrying your the father or the mother of your children. You're marrying the person who one of you is going to die first, right? And for me, it's like in a partnership and being aware of that, it's like you need to understand like health is, it's going to, taking care of yourself. You can't, sometimes things happen and cancer happens. You can do everything right, but guess what? You got really badly sunburned as a kid, right? It increases. I forget by what percent, because I have a sunburn on my back from when I was a kid. That's why I know. You can do everything right and you can still end up with a problem. Or I had a precancerous polyp removed from my colon when I was 42. Because I have my dad had colon cancer at a very young age. It was genetic. I told you I was not Mr. Perfect, Mr. Healthy, right?
Yep.
So I've been mostly healthy, but so things happen. But most of what we're dealing with, heart disease, neurodegenerative diseases, and certainly metabolic diseases, diabetes, that type of thing, a lot of it's preventable. Maybe neurodegenerative diseases, I shouldn't say that. There's a big genetic component as well, and also with hearing, actually. But don't lose your hearing, folks, or at least get a hearing aid. It will screw up your brain if you lose your hearing or your sight and it's not treated. But for metabolic disease and heart disease, those are largely preventable.
Wonderful. So those of you listening and watching, even if you have a partner that's not on the same page, there are better ways to communicate. Come from your heart, not from judgment or fear or superiority. Choose well if you're still dating, and know that anything's possible for people to change, but rarely do they change when you tell them what to do. But when you lead with inspiration and partnership, they will. And that sometimes your sacred partnership isn't meant to be forever, and that's not a failure. It's just the next stage of your evolution, and there's no need to judge the completion of a relationship either. So let's end on, and we could just talk
Love
forever.
it.
I think we should just keep doing podcasts. Okay, so let's talk about what's positive about when your partner is on the same page as you, and they do work out like you, and they do take care of themselves, and they have a plan when they eat extra in Texas for the holidays, and then how it brings out even more of your, not just your physical health, but your creative genius and your legacy to give the planet. Like, I really think when you have got two people who are wind in the wings of each other, like, look the fuck out.
Love it. And how about this? We can talk about, you mentioned sex earlier. Why don't we talk about sex?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Yeah. So
there you go. I get that reference.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of the 20 and 30-year-olds would, but yeah, love it. Love that song. So anyway, one thing that's really important, and this is more for men than women, but I had a client tell me, like, I can get an erection, but I kind of lose it during sex.
Right.
If you can get an erection, here's what that tells us. Your pipes are not clogged, because one of the biggest causes of erectile dysfunction is heart disease. Yeah. And you can take all the steroids in the world, the TRT, you will not get an erection if blood can't get where it needs to go. In fact, that's why they don't give you testosterone. They give for erectile dysfunction, they give you what? Viagra or Cialis. What does that do? Basically increases blood flow. Yes. So understand that circulation is the key.
Yeah.
And that aerobic exercise, I'm going to keep coming back to it because I think if you're over 40, you really need to hear this message.
Yeah.
You want to have sex because I feel like I'm, let's say late 20s, not early 20s, but late 20s,
Nice.
you know?
Yeah.
No problems. And I did have a problem when I was in my early 30s, even though I thought it was testosterone related. I got, my testosterone levels checked. They weren't low, but they weren't high, but right. So aerobic exercise, and sex is also aerobic exercise. It lasts longer than 4 minutes for most of us, right?
Yes.
So it's aerobic exercise.
Yeah.
And if it's more vigorous, and even more aerobic exercise.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it more than once, guess what? It's all aerobic exercise. Okay. So getting aerobically fit is key.
Yeah.
Another thing that's really important, I mentioned Cialis and Viagra. You don't need to take those things, although it's okay if you do. It's up to you. I personally don't like taking medications. Something that can improve sexual performance without using a medication is an amino acid called L-citrulline. Taking 6 grams of L-citrulline a day is going to help with arterial health, and circulation, and also it's something that there's studies showing that it's also effective for people with erectile dysfunction. I don't have erectile dysfunction, but I take it anyway, and you do get a boost, right?
Okay. And is it good for women too, for their orgasmic capacity, or is this just a guy thing?
It's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to it.
Well, then we're just going to leave them wanting more.
Yeah, but I can find it out. I would like to actually learn. Typically, the issue with women, it's a bit different because it's more of maybe a lubrication issue, right? With women, and an emotional thing, but it's very much like if you're a guy and your equipment, if the tubes are clogged, or there's hormonal dysfunction because you have too much belly fat, you're going to have a problem. Or if you're out of shape aerobically, even though you go lift weights, but you get tired, like, I benched 225, but you get tired walking up 5 flights of stairs and you feel like you're out of breath. You got to work on your aerobic exercise, your aerobic fitness.
Yes, I'm in such total agreement. Yeah. I love the weaving of the emotions and the physicality. It's like they feed each other. Like one is fed, then the other one gets better, then the other one gets better. It's like a positive vortex or a positive figure eight. And it moves into our longevity. It moves into our sexuality. It moves into our confidence, moves into the strength of our body. And living long. I love this. Okay. I want everybody to go to legendarylifepodcast.com/apply so you can see if you are a fit to work with this extraordinary gentleman, whether you're a gentleman or a lady. Obviously, his podcast. I'd love you to go see the podcast where I was honored to be a guest, Legendary Life Podcast. I think we should keep doing this. I don't know, every 6-9 months, I feel like there's still so much more that's in beautiful synergy to support people. Thank you for what you do. You've inspired me. I'm doing what's right, and I could do more. So that makes me feel good and inspired. So as we complete, thank you also for sharing the depth of your heart and your vulnerability and the inspiration of the life that you've created. And that you're showing us that we can choose a world that works for us and be a contribution. It's really beautiful, really beautiful. What are your last thoughts from your heart to?
Well, first is to you for having me on, Allana. Thanks so much. It's been a great conversation every time we've spoke from the first time. And I agree with you. It's this different synergy that's so important. But for everyone listening, I would say this. You can get into the best shape of your life in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. Yeah. You won't look like you're in your 20s, right? There's things that we have to accept. But the most important thing is your experience of your life. And a big part of that is going to be the level of vitality that you have. And that vitality, it comes from exercise. It comes from sleep. It comes from nourishing your body with food. And yes, you can still eat some pizza in Napoli and have some limoncello and Positano, but you know, it's going to come from that, and you can be in the best shape of your life, but you're going to need a different approach than what you did if you were in shape in your 20s. It can't just be running yourself into the wall. You've got to flow with your physiology. You can't just beat it into shape like so many of us did in our 20s and 30s. Yeah. So that's what I want to leave you with. It's possible. And if you're not getting results, it just needs to be a tweak of what you're doing. It's not that it's impossible.
Yeah, I love this. I love this. So everything Ted just said, and if you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and you're in great shape, and you're successful and all the rest of it, and you're still, I don't know, like existentially lonely, or you know there's more, or you just can't quite slow down because you're running from something that you haven't integrated, and it could be affecting your physiology, your sex life, your ability to be present with the people you like. What if there's some emotional trauma in there that's ready to be resolved? And then you have all of these areas of your life home in your heart and in your soul. So if that's the case, I'd like to speak with you about the possibility of psychedelic somatic integration work, because what we can figure out with our mind, we do. But when it's subconscious and it's held in the body, this is what I'm on the planet for. And I'd love to support you. So legendarylifepodcast.com/apply. Please get yourself into Ted's world. And you know where to find me, allanapratt.com/connect. That's how we can connect for a one-on-one call. Thank you so much, Ted, for who you are, what you do on the planet. I love that our souls have collided. I appreciate you so much. And finally, for all of you beautiful listeners and viewers, I'm sure something in this conversation struck a chord, moved you, touched you, inspired you, maybe even brought a tear to your eye. I'm not sure, but something is inviting your attention. So when you're done with this podcast, please just go outside, put your feet on the earth, maybe just slow down, put your hand on your heart and your belly, maybe get your journal if you're a writer, and just let something flow, let a truth flow, and then take an action so that this conversation literally moved the trajectory of your life. And then Ted's purpose and my purpose has made a difference. And we love you. We love you with all our heart. And we'll see you next week on Intimate Conversations.
See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. This is where I work out, and I was literally wearing my mittens this morning as I was working out. I think it was 8 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm really grateful for the inspiration of Ted to get in more weights, more cardio, to maybe get one of those devices that you wear so you can track how many steps you take. And even though it's cold, I can still bundle up and go for a walk around this beautiful area. It's just amazing to me how with Intimate Conversations, I get to be a student every single week of my life. I get to learn, I get to grow. And when I'm interviewed, I get to be in my mastery. But it's really great to have balance and learn from incredible people like Ted. So I'd like you to definitely subscribe to his page. Go to his website /apply. If you're like, you know what, I really would like some one-on-one attention for my health and well-being, my strength, my longevity. And I'd also like you to, subscribe, rate, and review this wonderful podcast so more people can hear his story and get that boost to get in shape and how to navigate that in your relationship. We talked a lot about that as well. And then lastly, I really encourage you to love your body, honor your body, because your body is the vessel in which all of the soul light that you are comes in, so that you can shine in your confidence, shine in your radiance, shine without apology, shine without attachment. Just be free being you. And if I can support you with any of that, it would be my absolute honor. I believe our intimate relationship with ourselves is the core, fundamental building block of our self-realization. The inside creates the outside. So thank you, Ted, for being on Intimate Conversations. Thank all of you for watching, and all of those links and scholarships, all the goodies will be in the show notes. Thanks for being with us. Love you.